introducing my guest that his name is Dammy Kolawole. He is a lawyer, a Nigerian lawyer called to the Nigerian bar, and he's an embodiment of music. He loves music and he's done so well about music. So it's a bilingual show. Sometimes when I meet some people, I tend to want to speak some, you know, if it belong, even also English, there, she gets. All right, so are you from a musical family? Ṣé ilé olórin lẹ ti jáde?
Not really. You see, the foundation is the Apostolic Church. What we say, logo. You understand?
Yes,
and,
glorious,
and then
glorious, glorious vision.
yeah, and then you see, when you belong to that church, it is mandatory for you when you're still young to become a member of the choir. You see, if you don't, attend the choir practice or you don't belong to, you are not a member of the choir, then you are seen as, someone that needs deliverance. So more or less, we have to be, members of the choir. Then when we're young, and it is something that has to do with everybody. I think 1 minute.
All right, all right. Àwọn NEPA ló gbé ṣèwọ́de.
wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ gbé iṣẹ́ wọn dé, kò sí nǹkan tó fẹ́ ṣe sí yẹn.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So mo mọ̀ wípé at that time, it's the desire of every young child wọ́n fẹ́ join choir because something about the choir will interest them. And if not for the singing aspect, maybe the drums, the keyboards, the guitar, the conga, even the shekere. Wọ́n dẹ̀ máa ń lé àwọn kéèké kúrò ní di instrument.
Yeah, you see, one of the attributes of a very good, musician and then a very good instrumentalist is the fact that you must be a hard nut from the start. You must be a stubborn personality. You see, you have to have that bit of stubbornness in you for you to be very good, because it takes a little bit of being truant. It takes a little bit of taking you out of the house, being a bit hard, getting to play the reggae in the midst of those that smokes Indian hemp and the rest of that. Yeah, getting to the stage and trying to perform, traveling from one place to the other, abandoning the instructions of your parents. You see, it takes a whole lot. So before you be that good, or before you have the passion to be able to do it very well, you will have a bit of this and that, as an attribute.
But why it's music Sherry Bear? Why it's music Sherry Bear? Now if you look,
because you see, it is more or less. It is more or less like you're talking about, the Nigerianization of the personality of, each family or children or their developmental process. You're talking about their socializing. So, a whole lot of things, the environment, the topology, everything has to really, it will, affect whatever you got to do. So there's no way you can remove the Nigerian idea from what we're talking about. If you're talking about the American system in comparison, it will be a different thing. Because if you say you want to study music in America, or if you say you want to study musical instrumentation, you want to do this one, you see, there's a means by which the society, the system supports what you got to do. But here, it's a different ballgame.
It's not so. Okay. So naturally, for young people or the younger people,
me?
I'm with you. I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you. Mongboyin.
Hello?
Mongboyin. Mo wà pẹ̀lú yín. Mo wà.
Aha. Can you hear me now?
Yes, mo wà pẹ̀lú yín. Mo wà pẹ̀lú yín. Network yẹn ti better padà again. Ó fẹ́ lọ ni. So
Okay.
nǹkan tí mò ń sọ ni pé okay ẹ jẹ́ ká wo àwọn artist kan fún àpẹẹrẹ àwọn juju artist. Sunny Ade was supposed to be in school. He left school and started following musicians around. Shina Peters, má sọmọ tí ẹ ní ti àwọn yẹn ní ti àwọn Shina Peters, and it's just like that with a lot of artists. Ó wá dàbí ẹni pé ó ti di àṣà pé tó bá fẹ́ fi music ṣoríire o gbọ́dọ̀ sá kúrò nílé. Now, how well has the church, or how well did the church help you?
See, I can't be, I can't have all the attributes you actually associated with me without the church. The church is the foundation. As a matter of fact, if you talk about some of the best instrumentalists in this country, if you talk about the best of some of the vocalists in this country, if you talk about the best of the best, some of the artists in this country, the foundation is the church. It's very rare for you to find one or two. Even in the other religion, you still find that the association of their religion or the direction of their religion actually motivated the direction of their singing or the brand of their music. So it's not something that can be separated. If you look at the foundation of most of the artists you just mentioned, if you look at their foundation, Shina Peters, church, Dayo Kujore of blessed memory, church, Dile Taiwo, church.
Yeah.
You understand? Even Majek
I
Fashek of
did
blessed
my own
memory, church.
Mm.
Ras Kimono, church.
Yeah.
You see? Church, you see, you can't separate the foundation in most cases. It has to do with your religion and your belief, your doctrination. Even if your religion is the Islamic religion, yeah, you will discover the fact that the way that that culminated into Fuji today, it is the manner by which during their fasting, the way to call them to prayer. You see, that is the weary stuff, and that's exactly what culminated into Fuji today. You see, so it is the same thing, even all over the world. There are a whole lot of artists in America that they were or they used to be good singers in church.
All right. I want us to talk about the instruments you play. What precise instrument do you play growing up?
Well, as a matter of fact, the very first instrument that I actually, touched was the violin. Because then my sister, one of my sister was, learning to play the violin. But I really didn't pick so much interest in that. Eventually, I, um, got associated with the bass guitar, and I started, with the bass guitar. Eventually, I went to learning the rhythm guitar, and then I ended up with the lead guitar.
All right. Sorry about that. I was trying to control noise right here. So, sir,
Okay.
I want us to talk about. What you have done with the guitar. What you have done with the guitar. The guitar later became your major instrument. Am I right?
The lead guitar later became my major, but as it's come again.
The guitar later became your major instrument.
Yes, that's correct. The lead guitar later became my major instrument, but you should also understand that, no matter how good on the guitar you are, you will still be able to touch the keyboard and other instruments that are close to it. So that is the skill for most of the multi instrumentalists.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the guitar on its own. Who taught you the guitar? Who would you give that credit as your guitar teacher?
Ah, the story, yeah, the story was that is you see, there was this Pastor Samuel. It's been very long. Then my dad was a senior police officer, and then Pastor Samuel happens to be one, instrumentalist in our church then, and he's so much interested in wanting to get close to one of my sisters. So, in the opportunity of trying to come to the house, it will be difficult for him to want to come to the house of a senior police officer. So he's so scared. So he will then, talk to me that would I be willing to learn the guitar? And I said, wow, yes, that the way he plays the guitar. In fact, the Pastor Samuel was a close friend to Pastor Kunle Ajayi, but both of them actually, performed together in the Apostolic Church. So he then, suggested that he comes to teach me the guitar in the house so that he would have the opportunity to say hi or hello to my sister. So that was the trade by barter that actually started my, learning how to play the guitar.
So you gave out your sister in return.
I didn't give out my sister. I gave the opportunity for him to be able to say hi to
I
my
think
sister.
it's just almost the same thing. You gave out your you gave him a leeway for him to talk to your sister,
No,
and you
no,
wanted
he never even he never had the lead way, but you see, he had the opportunity to see her and say hi. That is enough.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you learned the guitar. Who was the first professional artist you played for or you played with?
That has to do with a guy called Romeo Ortega, the popular girl now you call Yinka Davis,
Yeah.
and Felix Duke. We all backed Francis Goldman.
Okay.
That's yes, a reggae artist called Francis Goldman. Then we together again went further. Then we used to rehearse at Mike Akpo, one white man, Mike Akpo. It's been a long time. Mike Akpo at Surulere. We used to call the place Jazzville or so. I can't remember quite well. That's where we rehearsed. So from there, the same band, the same collection of persons, Felix Duke, Yinka Davis, Romeo Ortega, the junior brother of Fortune Ortega then, and I think at the time, this guy, this gospel artist that died recently,
Samuel
also
Post.
joined us. Samuel Oposo, yes, also joined us then. And then we backed Alexito together.
That was around what
We
year?
were on tour with Alexito for quite a while during the Tekomi, and co.
Okay. So you're talking about
You're asking a
1980.
jam question.
Yeah,
I
you should
probably
know now.
should be able to.
You're a lawyer. You are a lawyer. So you should know. You should be able to keep
Yeah,
precise.
I can get precise dates, but not not on this freelance.
Now,
I can
at that,
get. I
at that time,
We went ahead actually. We look. We still went ahead the same band to back Daniel Wilson. Yeah,
okay.
quite
So
remember.
we're talking about the early 90s now. Very early 90s.
That is not early night. That can't be early 90s. That
Late
is not.
80s.
That should be late 90s thereabouts. It's not early 90s because
Tikumi
that time we still went
came
on
around,
tour with
right?
Benson and Edges. That is that that is the time we still went on tour with Benson and Edges. So and I think that should be late 90s. During the MKO Abiola Abacha, during that time. Yeah.
MKO Abiola Abacha was 1993, 94, 95.
MK Abiola time, yes, to Abacha era, yes. Because I remember that in those bands, I used to be the youngest among them.
Okay. Now, are you aware that around
And
that
then,
time?
much later joined Sonny Okosun, and then
No,
much later became.
before Sony Okosun, were you aware at that time that Alagbaja
Yeah.
was holding his colors band somewhere around Ikeja? Maybe there were gigs by the colors band of Lagbaja.
When
Because you mentioned Inka
yes,
Davis.
that's
Inka
I
Davis at the time
remember
was a
then,
part of that band.
when yes, yes. I think Yinka Davis later joined Lagbaja. You're correct about that. That was then when Lagbaja there was a Kunle Odutayo, a guitarist, because we were very close. Most of
Yeah,
the professional guitarists were all very close then. Kunle Odutayo was the lead guitarist to Lagbaja then. He's now the Kunle Ayo in South Africa.
yeah, you're South Africa. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
How did
that's
you
still the same era.
how did you join Sony Okosun?
Wow. You see, most of us then that are professional when it comes to the instrumentation that we play, we have a link. We have a link. And then most of the band members for Sonny Okonso, there are lots of them that are non-Nigerians. Like the band leader wasn't a Nigerian, the bassist was not a Nigerian, he was even a Cameroonian. So I was so interested in a band that can give me a little bit of foreign feels, like the Makosa, Sokus kind of a thing. And I found Sonny Okonso in that realm, having those foreigners, as members of the band. And then the band leader later became a lady, Claudia Pebble. Now I remember her name.
That's Sony Okosun's band
She
leader.
was the band. Yes, Sonny Okonso. Claudia Pebble then. So I now connected with Femi Ojetunde, a keyboardist, a very good keyboardist in the United States of America now, who now informed me that, look, are you interested in, joining the Ozidi band, that there's a space, for a guitarist? And I was like, let's give it a try. And I went for the auditioning, and, Sonny Okosun was so much, he was so much interested in the fact that, this young boy playing this guitar, and I became a member, and I went on tour with them. I went on tour 55 cities with Sonny Okonso then. So that is how I actually started with the band.
What year did you join Sony Okosun? Don't tell me you can't remember.
Do you expect me to remember that?
You should remember. There are details.
I can. Yes, there are details that you don't. You don't give details, within the context of our professional ethics. Now, you give details that you can actually ascertain and confirm, not details just offhand.
All right. Okay. So let me reintroduce. let me reintroduce you now. Dear viewer, I have with me online Dammy Lola Kolawole, the CEO of Alphabet Music.
You say Dammy. You say
Dammy
Dammy Damola Kolawole.
Damola Kolawole. He's actually a lawyer, but
Damola Kolawole.
the lawyer in him is not sitting. Is
That's
not
the
here
way
with
it
me. The lawyer in him is not seated here because I was asking about some details and saying that the ethics of the profession. No, you're not a lawyer now. Just give me some idea about some dates and events surrounding your artistry, and I'll be fine. Okay, network is a law. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
okay, it's back. So,
yeah.
You are not a lawyer now. You are not a lawyer now. You are Damola Kolawole. Oh yeah, for me, Emma for me, I'm gauge, I'm dating.
You see, you can't at this point in time remove the legal thing. It's part and parcel of my blood and flesh now. You see, as much as you cannot remove me, you can't remove the music part of me. It's just the same thing. You get.
All right. So can you just give me an idea of when you joined Sony Okosun? Maybe the album they just released, or maybe just an event that surrounded the time you joined, so that I can piece it together to know precisely or around the time you joined.
You see, one thing I remember very well. One thing I remember very well without any equivocation is that I was part of the On the March Again, looking for Mr. President, MKO is our man. Oh. I was part of that trade. So, and it was within the context of that time that I actually joined the band.
That jingle was produced by Sony Okosun, am I right? Or someone
No,
else that got Sony Okosun?
no, it was produced by someone
Sorry.
else.
Was this Sonny Neji sang that jingle? Am I right? I meant Sonny Neji.
I can't confirm that right away, but that is a jingle that was used for MK Abiola when he was actually trying to contest, or when he actually contested. Sorry to say that, when he actually contested for the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and then was truncated. That was what is still adjudged now as the freest and the fairest election. That is the SDP political party against the NRC in the 1993 June 12 election. That's correct.
So around that time, you joined Sony Okosun.
Yeah, before the presidential jamboree, then I became a member of the Ozidi band, and I was the youngest.
But now the Ozidi band had reigned years before 1993. The Ozidi band reigned around 1980s and up till the time Mandela was incarceration. No, it became so popular with the Mandela, and immediately gradually it went down. I think Mandela was released around 93 or 94. I actually remember now. So was the band by the time you joined?
I didn't hear that. Please.
Okay, let me summarize. I was saying that the Ozidi band reigned in the 70s up to the 80s, and it actually became prominent with the struggle of Free Mandela. But after Mandela was released, I think in 1994 thereabouts, the fame of the band started dwindling, and it's around that time or shortly before that when you joined. So what can you say about the Ozidi band? Was it still there? Was it a reigning band then?
You see, the Ozidi band had existed even long time ago during the fire in Soweto and the rest. You get, Ozidi band had existed long before then. You see, the band had actually been so popular before I joined, and you should understand the fact that instrumentalists, some persons will tell you that instrumentalists are like what do we call them? Like prostitutes, that they move from band to band, and so professional instrumentalists at times don't stay in one band. At the time I was with Ozidi band, I was with other bands too. I was with a juju band called Adiolushayo, of blessed memory now. So we always jump from one bandwagon to the other. But my fixed band then was, the Ozidi band, of Sony Okosun. Even after then, I became a member of the Positive Force, that is Femi Ankwa Okuti. So it's been one band after another. And even before Ozidi band, I was also with Vietnam Goli.
Okay. So you've been all around bands, playing from
Yeah,
band to band. Can
yeah,
you compare
exactly.
your experience with the juju bands and the other bands playing more of westernized music?
If you want to be a versatile, if you want to be a versatile, instrumentalist, I'm very sure that you're not going to only play with Daniel Wilson or play with Francis Goldman or play with Adeolu Shayo or not have the understanding of Afrobeat or not have the understanding of reggae music. No, you have to cut across all these. You have to cut across, different genre of music. That is the only way you can develop yourself and develop yourself appropriately. So we were here and there, even church, we used to there's a coinage we have then. We used to say muje. You understand? Is it the celestial church you will talk about? Is it the cherubim and seraphim you will talk about? Is it when various areas to just develop our music intellectuality, and that is what was actually reigning then. So the experiences, you can't limit it to one particular type of music. No.
So after Sony Okosun, whom did you play with? After Sony Okosun.
I was the positive force. I was the positive force for a little while. That is Femi Kuti. I was there for some time too. We're joining one band to the other, developing our different types of music.
So when did you stop playing for bands? Around what year?
Ah, it will be funny for you to know that if you have a band today and I'm free, it will still be a joy, free thing. You can't take music away from a professional instrumentalist. So when you say, when did you stop? It will seem as if you are saying, I've stopped. No, 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 that's not possible. It's still part of me. And I can tell you rightfully here now that even in the house I am now, definitely you will stay at least two to three different types of guitar, professional guitar.
So what led you to artist promotion? What led you to form alphabet music, the popular alphabet music then?
Um, let me tell you, let me explain something, and I'm going to still say it here because I'd said it before in other forum. See, is the Nigerian system does not really help budding artists. The Nigerian system is only interested in established arts. You see, and while I was playing around, developing my understanding of music, while I was doing that, developing my understanding of instrumentation, I was also developing my understanding of music production. Already from childhood, I have the gift to write songs, and you still cannot take that out of me till date. I have the gift to put songs together, and I'm always interested in something I learned from Uncle Bisa Deologunde. That is the one you call Lagbaja today. He does something which I actually picked from him. Uncle Bisade will go from bus stop to bus stop. He will walk around. He will take a walk, While he's doing that, he's picking ideas, developing ideas, remodeling ideas, and all that. He's getting various inspirations from people, out there, and then developing those inspirations. And then he goes to the studio and put these things together. That now became part of me. If I listen to any song, I want to see what I can. You see, that's research methodology kind of a thing. I've been in me from childhood. I'm always interested in, okay, this person did this. This is nice. It makes sense. I can do something better. And I'm trying everything possible to see how I can actually do something better. So I've been on that for a while. So when I get an inspiration, I try to put it down. I still do that till today. You see? So I now discovered that the Nigerian system is not really helping the budding artist. The Nigerian system is not helping the artist who wants to grow. Nobody wants to take a budding talent to the studio, remodel the talent, put the talent in the right path by which the talent can go, and then put the talent in the eye of the people to see. Nobody wants to do that. And I thought to myself, okay, fine. I actually worked with this person, and I discovered that while I was working with this person, oh, come on, you are talented. You can do this, you can do that. Oh, I don't have songs. Okay, fine. Let's try these songs. Let's try this. Oh, let's call somebody to give you a song. Try this song. And then we put it together, and then we put it in the market, and we see the response. So I tried it the first time, I tried it the second time, I tried it the third time, I tried it the fourth time, and it was just good. So that brought about the issue of alphabet, productions that you actually need. That is what brought it about. It wasn't like I actually had the intention that I want to have a record label or I want to have a promotional outfit. No, it was the quest for wanting to develop, talent, budding artists that I felt that this person can do well. That interest was what I had. And immediately I had the interest, I now had to go to the market, to study the market. And I discovered the fact that there's a difference between a talent, modeling the talent, producing the talent, and selling the market. Different things. So now I now had to go into, I now learned the market. After learning and having a proper understanding of the market, I was not able to match the talent, production of the talent, modeling the talent, and then be able to give the talent the idea that the market wants.
Now, so this, who was the first signed artist to Alphabet? The first artist to sign to Alphabet?
Askari Fuji.
Oh, wow.
That is Isiaka Ishola.
Askari Fuji.
You see, when he came to me, he was a police personnel. So we had to go through the people, the police public relation officer. We had to bring in Police Officers' Wives Association, which my mom was a member before. We had to bring in a lot of people. I had to convince Ben Gadeboye, we were in the same church, the Apostolic Church, so that he can help me make noise about it on radio and come to anchor the what is it called? The launching of that project. That brought a whole lot of name, a lot of noise about it. Is it true? As a police officer sings Fuji, we have to do the package and all that. So, it takes a whole lot, and that's where we really started from.
For Askari Fuji, it was novel at that time for a serving police officer to be doing social, to be engaged in social music. Like that. I remember that we had a barrister, but he was performing in the uniform at that time, and anytime he went for any interview, he said that yes, he has, or he had the permission of even the IG.
Yes, because we actually made a request for all that. We actually took, we took permission. We had a lot of police officers, even in the video. You see, we had a lot of police personnel, even in the video. We took permission for all that. You have to do the necessary so that you don't. Go wrong of the rules of engagement.
That album must have cost you a fortune.
Every album will cost you a fortune if you are meant to do the right thing. You don't, you understand, what it takes. You don't just call some important personnel to come and be a part of what you are doing, and they are going to be coming to do it for free. That's not, not in this part of the world. So what is obtainable is the fact that dancers are paid their money, backup singers are paid their money, percussionists are paid their money, the studio is paid, and you have to pay for everything. So we did what we were supposed to do.
How many albums did you record for Askari?
Askari did only the first album. That is the introductory album with us.
What's the title?
The name that gave him Askari, that is the real album. That is the first album he had.
Okay. So after Askari, who else did you sign? After Askari immediately. Okay. You're bounced out again by network, but I hope, yes, I think it's coming back now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right. So after Askari, who was the next artist you signed? The second artist on your label, Alphabet Music.
After Isiaka Ishola, we had Adewale Ayide, Musiba, the one you know as Tekoma.
Okay, Tekoma. Wait, how many Tekomas existed at that time?
Only one.
Only one Tekoma.
The other one you know is Tekoye.
Tekoye, okay. That is Mr. Pure Water.
Yeah, that's Tekoye. And then you have Tekoma. That is Unification, the one that did Jeje Lomo Ikunlo.
Okay. So Tekoma at that time recorded first with Alphabet. Before then, he has never done any album for any record label.
I don't do, like I said, you see, I was basically interested in boarding artists, boarding talents. I had the opportunity to do a lot of artists, a lot of Nigerian artists that had recorded before, but I was more interested in artists that had never recorded before. So Tekoma did his first album with me. He did his second album with me. He did his third album, the fourth, the fifth album with me. He has never had any album elsewhere before.
So why did Tekoma stay longer? Why did he stay longer? Why did Askari why did he record just one album? Being the first artist, somebody did like 5 albums or more, and one did just one album. Was there any sort of disagreement or something? Or one was selling, the other wasn't selling?
You see, let me tell you something. In the industry of music, in marketing, in promotion, in artist record label relationship, disagreement is a must. There's nothing you can do.
All right, so we lost that signal again right now, and it's back. It's back now.
So because of the fact that we understand the intricacies, we tend to manage. In most cases, what we do is manage their excesses. So an artist could come under a record label today and then go to the manager or the promoter's house and even clean the floor just because of the interest of having that name. But when the artist makes the name, there's a tendency for the artist to change, or the tendency for the people around the artist to feel that the artist already has a name, or the artist is bigger than thou, that kind of an attitude. So for one reason or the other, because the artist is actually thinking in context of not the career, but the achievement of making money. If the artist is not thinking about the career and is only interested in just the monetary incentive involved, when you make the name, people will harmonize the name that is just, that you are making, that the promoter is helping to build. People will want to actualize that name you are building to the achievement of money, the achievement of material things. You understand? So you will see the people around the artist making the artist feel the the celebrity, kind of posture.
Yes.
And then they tend to interpret that celebrity posture to the fact that you've made millions. So there's a problem. How do you connect the two? The artist falls back to the person that is building that career and say, look, I can't walk on the street anymore. I'm now a name. You understand? And then for that, everybody feels that I have money. And then people start to tell the artist behind that, look, this promoter is just milking you.
Ripping you off.
The promoter has spent, the promoter has spent 5 million on you. The promoter has not even made 500,000 because of the name, the fanfare, and a lot of people are telling the artist that, look, you are just going to remain here suffering. So the artist is also thinking, okay, somebody wants to offer me 2 million somewhere. The artist is not thinking about the 5 million the promoter from the scratch had invested. No, he wants to pick 2 million somewhere else that somebody else wants to actually take the artist off the artist's contractual signing agreement. So there's a problem, you see?
So that explains why Askari Fuji did only one album with Alphabet Music and he moved on.
See, I just in synopsis, make you understand the generality of controversies surrounding artists, artist manager, artist promoters, record label, the relationship. You see, that relationship in most cases leads to acrimony. And you find out at times that once the artist feels uncomfortable about certain things, the artist actually thinks in the context of the fact that, oh, I need to move on.
Okay, now there is a message here from Shukwa Oyeleye. He said that's Abioro versus Sony. Now I want to ask, artist will always be an artist. And it doesn't matter how big or how popular you are. An artist will always think like an artist. And a record label will always think like a record label. Did you hear that?
Artists will always act,
as an artist, yes, and
of an
will always be a record label. So most of the time, we shouldn't blame. It's what always happens. We shouldn't blame the old Sony Abioro saga, or blame all those past artists and the record labels, the Olumo versus Dele Abiodun and all those, because as it happened then, it's still happening and it will continue to happen.
All right. See, you're correct in all entirety. But let me tell you something. Like someone just made a comment just now. Very valid comments. We need to educate them. Yeah. But you should understand the part of the country, part of the world we belong to. We lack consciousness. Lots uneducated. Lots deficiencies in intellectuality. A lot of persons don't even understand the letters of the agreement they sign. They are only concerned about the monetary, the money you invest in them, the money you invest on their project. They are not interested in, even if you like, go and take a loan. And look, before an artist come crashing down, before the career of the artist come nose diving, the promoter or the record label, they are already buried in the ground. Before the artist will come down, the promoter is dead. Do you know you hear a lot about artists having one problem or the other? You do not hear about marketers,
yes,
label owners dying. A lot of them are dead. A lot of them are dead out of, a whole lot of indebtedness. See, today, now Nigerian artists, a lot of Nigerian artists, various genres of music are suffering. Ask them, no marketer. Ask them, no promoter, no record label. Who is going to invest? Are you going to tell me I'll go to Zenith Bank now and get 20 million to invest on an artist? And, by the time I will be making 5 million off the artist, the 20 million had tripled to about 40-something million for me to pay back. And the artist is thinking the fact that, oh, you are not promoting me enough. I'm supposed to be on Rainbow FM I'm supposed to be on Radio Lagos. I'm supposed to be on Family FM. Hello, the money you are going to pay there, you are going to be paying through your nose. And then all we are talking about does not culminate in market response.
But you
Someone
mentioned
who has
something
not eaten in the house.
You mentioned something just now. You said, hardly do we hear of marketers, artists going down. And you said before an artist goes down, then the record label or the marketer has already gone down. The marketer has alternatives. If this artist is not doing well, then you have some other artists you are building by the side. So if this one is not doing well, if this one is not giving you money, you can always fall back on the other one. And even sometimes you use money from this other one to push the one that may not be doing well.
Look, you cannot use the money from Taye to fund the project of Kehinde. That's bad business. Very bad business. Look, the artist won't the artist won't even support. If artist A is doing very well, and you discover the fact that artist A did perfectly well, you invest more on that artist A to ensure that artist A is able to maintain, appropriate equilibrium. In fact, you invest more on that artist A, seeing the prospect on that artist A, to ensure the fact that artist A continues to do well. Because it's on even before you would have actually seen anything or any twin light in the return of your investment. Because you know that the more investment you put into artist A grants the opportunity for a long-term investment. But see, the more you do that, the limitations and the deficiencies in that, there are other marketers that are waiting for you. They are willing to take the artist off you.
That's true, because it has happened. It's always happened.
Breach. One of the most important things in marketing, one of the most important things in promotion of an artist is breach of contract. And the artist will claim what? Will claim the right of illiteracy.
Okay, the right of illiteracy.
And when you go to court, the chances of the artists winning the case in court is even very high, because the court will demand for the illiterate jurat before the artist actually sign that contractual agreement. There are a whole lot of gamut of issues, and it's killing the music industry in Nigeria.
All right, maybe we'll still come back to that, but I want to talk about some of the other artists. So, who was the third artist that was signed to Alphabet Music?
Yeah, we had Omolope, yes.
Okay, that's Adejoke Bankole.
Then we had Omolope, yes. At the same time we had Muda Shiruajani, Safejo Amama.
I was coming to Muda Shiruajani. Were you trying to create a parallel, like a market for yourself using the Saheed Osupa brand? Because Safejo actually sounded like Saheed Osupa. They sounded the same way, they sang the same way and everything. So are you trying to have a Saheed Osupa in your Alphabet empire?
Safejo was not sounding specifically like Saheed Osupa. Safejo had his texture of voice, but not exactly like Saheed Osupa. We recorded Safejo, improvised Safejo to sound like Saheed Osupa. It wasn't like Safejo sounded like Saheed. It's a music production thing. So, and Safejo was not, his real name was, when we record artists at times, we try to give the artist a package name. It's almost the same thing we did in, most of our artists. You see? So, we created that production and that package idea to, toil in that direction, because that was the era of rivalry. When you have, Pasoma, Saido Shupa, you have the Malaika, you have the Muritonda, and the rest of them, So it was an era for rivalry.
So what is Mudashiro's real name?
Yeah, you have his real name, Mudashiro Ajani.
No, you said you created a name for him.
Yeah, you see, yes. Look, when we give an artist an idea, we try to also give the artist a package idea. In most cases, it is the package idea we use that most people will see the artist as, and we call the artist that name. Then we were having a name like Pasuma. You understand? You were having a name like, various name that is a coined idea name. And then we now did a joint album where we give, Mudashiru Ajani, Safejo Amama. It will sound Pasuma.
Okay.
You understand? Tekoma.
Tekoma.
You understand? Amama.
Ama.
You understand? So it is an idea, package as a name. And then when you are going to be having such persons, you're going to be having the first album of such person too, you will have an idea, perfect name that people will find it easy, to go along with. If you, for example, now, during the time of rivalry, you were releasing Tekoma, and you called that the album Unification. Who is the unifying? All the rivalry, Fuji artists. So he comes to unify them. So everybody was like, hey, this one is coming as a unifier. You understand? And that album actually made it. Safejo Amama, he was introduced in an album that Pasuma did. Pasuma did for me then. The album was called Godfather. That Pasuma is the godfather of all Fuji artists in Nigeria. And then we had Wally Tekoma to feature in that album as the capo. The idea of the Godfather, Italian
Godfather, yeah.
So Tekoma was to feature in the album as the capo, while Safejo was to feature in the album as the Don. I think, the Don or Mr.
That's from the last Don.
Yeah, so that Godfather album actually heralded the coming of Safejo Amama.
Safejo. Okay.
So
was he the one that instigated Safejo to take on Saido Shupa? Because it took Saido Shupa to do that.
Let me tell you something. You see, then it was more or less like I said, rivalry is what we are interested in for markets. It's basically, it wasn't a rivalry. It wasn't an actual enmity kind of a rivalry. No, it was more or less a market idea. And the market idea is a thing that is absolutely obtainable all over the world. You see, we are not practicing it properly here because at times you can even see, even on the social media thing, you can talk to somebody on social media now and the person will take you to the cleaners and you'll feel that, okay, please, we met before. You understand? So then it was not really the enmity kind of a thing, but more or less like an entertainment, sort of a thing. But some persons could actually take it to the extreme or take it, personal. So then it wasn't, it wasn't the enmity thing. So we were using the Safejo more or less to kind of be at par with Saido Shupa in the kind of direction of singing, and that's what we actually did.
I remember Embargo. Safejo ti do de iseyin legbe. Emi amama ti do de Then after
you see, when
you are saying something, sir.
You see, when you said when you looked at the introduction of that song, you should understand that we did that because we needed it for a radio play, and that is actually what we use for the jingle. You understand? And everybody listening to that, they were like, who is singing like Saido Shukai now? You know, understand? And those that saw him with Pasoma are now like, oh, Pasoma now has someone that can checkmate Saido Shukai effectively. That's sold.
How can an album break with his first album and saying that, okay, Motide, Esigbe, that song was full of
what you are doing is just market, you know. You see, that's one of the things that I actually got in, you know, marketing projects as such. It's just market. There are so many market. There are so many market gimmicks. You see, if you cannot capture the listening audience, you can't capture the buying audience. Yeah.
That is if anyone tells you that Sony Ade and Commander were actually fighting, you just twitch your nose and say, you run your own pa. Or Barrister Kolawole, want to be record. As the marketer, he will tell you that our guys are cash out. Yes, you were about to respond to that.
Yeah, you were talking about King Sony Ade and
yes,
you know, Evangelist Ebenezer Obey.
I was saying that as a marketer, yes, the marketer and you would tell yourself that they are only trying to cash out, that they won't be fighting over anything.
Look, see, yeah, you see, we every, you know, like we say popularly say that necessity is the mother of invention. At the stage where we get to, we learn the terrain of whatever we are doing and we try to improve on it. Then the rivalry, then it is a spiritual war. You see, everybody is so concerned about is
All right, network has gone again.
Look, we're back, right?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay. Now, if Barrister of blessed memory can go to the studio and say, at this time, I'm not joking at all, and then he gets to the studio and he goes with all sorts, you know, less to mention, and he waxed an album, and there are some talking drums that have been properly prepared for that production. And then what the talking drummer will play is Okegbemi. Okuta were Okegbemi. And after that album, you less could say all that transpired after that. Who are those that are still living? You see? So then the rivalry was more of a spiritual battle than just, you know. But in as much that it was even a spiritual battle, they were engaging in something that when it comes to the marketability of this project, it will take the project to the market. The project will sell. Look, there was a live album that was done at the time by Saido Shuka. It wasn't an album as such. It was just a live show. The live show of when he went to Pasoma's place, and Pasoma went to his place and Pasoma ate amala, and then he went to show and he sang about it, and that, you see, it was a sellout because there was rivalry going on between them. So ìwọ àti Ìjìdòwò lẹ́wà Jamala and all this stuff, and people started buying it. Yeah, so he couldn't even afford to buy. Can you tell me Pasuma cannot afford to buy all the amalas on a booker? But for relationship, for continuity, for friendship, for interrelativity, he did all that, and then somebody sang about that, and people went to town. They have their interpretations to it.
And I remember too that time there were lots of collaborations, even in spite of the enmity, the perceived enmity among artists. There were lots of collaborations between 2, 3 Fuji artists. If I remember that Said Balogun produced one, Bayowa produced one for Said Balogun. I don't know who produced for who, but there were lots of joint albums there, and it brought out lots of talent. And that came a time, yes, and that came a time they just stopped everything. That there should be
for that joint album. I was summoned, I was queried by man. So I started it. Oh. I started a joint thing. Yes, I started it, and I was queried heavily for it. And at the time, I was at loggerheads with the Music Association. You see, so anyway, it's a good thing because there's nothing wrong in collaboration. Because the opportunity of collaboration, you'll be able to discover a lot of talents. The younger ones will collaborate with the more experienced ones. They will learn from them, and then that will be more or less like an impetus for them to want to work harder and get to where they desire to get to. The most important thing that it would be if we had actually developed further on that, is that now you will have seen a lot of talent, being able to actualize their dreams. But well, yeah, the rest is a story for another day.
All right. And now, at what point did you sign on Shanko Rashidi?
Oh yes, we were supposed to be having an occasion in LTV8. And then the occasion brought, I think it was a talent hunt or something. So a lot of people came to perform. So I came around to just have a look at the performance then. And then we have the permanent secretary, Lagos State Broadcasting Corporation then, by name, yes, Mr. Leko Ogunbanwo. So I was somewhere around there looking at all they were doing, and I saw this little boy dancing, and he was scratching his head, and I was like, this boy dances very well. And I really did not approach him, but somebody approached me from Radio Lagos and said, look at this boy dancing. And the boy dances very well. That he had the boy singing, and the boy has a good voice. I said, wow. I said, oh, but the boy is really so young that by rights, the boy will not be able to sign a contract because he's still a minor. But the person now said, yeah, but he sings well, that I should just listen to him. And then they brought him, and I said, what is your name? He said his name is Rashid Ojetayo. I said, where are you from? He said he's from Ibadan. Where are your parents? He said the parents are in Ibadan. What are you doing in Lagos? He said he came with a bus to Lagos because he came to just see and look around. One day he would get into a bus and return back to Ibadan. I said, wow.
That's the way.
So what are you now? You see, then there was a girl. There was a girl that was a bit close to me, a Fuji artist, that we used to call Iyabo Osanle.
Okay.
She's late now.
Yeah.
So I now saw Rashid Ojetayo as, so you are another, Osanle. So I now said, okay, so where are you going to sleep tonight? He said he will find somewhere around the LTV8 and sleep. I said, what? And he had all the, infection all over his skin. And I said, okay. And I said, I told one of the guys with me that they should take him to a pharmacy. Buy antibiotics for him. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Are we back?
Yeah, we are back. I'm with you. Quite interesting stories this evening, I must say. But whatever network does, I'm sure we're going to finish this. Very, very important. I'm sure we'll be back shortly. We'll be back shortly. Network from his end is zero, but I'm sure that we'll be back. I've been talking to the CEO of Alphabet Music. He's not a lawyer. I'm not sure. We're still going to get there to know if he still practices, if he still runs the business. He said he's still into music. He plays once in a while, but I want to know if indeed he's still is in the business of producing artists and promoting them, which I doubt. Which I doubt. Which I doubt. Let's see. Okay, he's back now. He's back. You're welcome back. You're welcome back. All right. So you told your people to take him to a pharmacy. That was where you stopped.
Yeah, we need to actually get him something that is going to use to bath, get some drugs for him and other things. Then he actually followed me home. And that is how that is how Rashid Ojetayo then was now living in my house. So
Did you make effort
eventually,
to meet his parents?
yes, eventually we now went to Ibadan to meet the parents, and the parents actually entered into a contractual agreement with us. So that's how we started this project.
So he released. I forgot the title of the album now. Àtàndá dé Ṣàngó Rashid yóò ẹ dákun ẹ.
You already said the title of the album. Like I told you earlier on, we try to package artists by name. His name is Rashid Ojetayo. So we now say his name is Shanko Rashid. So the title of the album is Shanko.
Shanko. Okay. But at that time too, Shanko had his own rivals.
He never did.
What about Wasiu Aiki Container and
it was after Shanko came out and Shanko made a hit, and then the hit was so much that people were looking for. You see, what we did? I'm telling you this for the first time. I'm saying this here for the first time. We took Shanko to a photo studio and compressed his picture for him to even look smaller. And then we advertised his coming in Safejo's album.
Okay.
So people were expecting a small boy. And so you have people like Kolawole in Ibadan, Gbengadeboye of blessed memory, Toba Opeleye of blessed memory, Kolawole of blessed memory, advertising a small boy. Gbengadeboye said that I didn't wait for the boy to stop sucking the mother's breast when I took the boy away from the mother to teach the boy how to sing Fuji. So you could imagine a lot of persons were now expecting or waiting to hear the boy sing. So we took our time, wrote his songs. He didn't have a single song. We created
so you did all those songs.
Yeah. So we sat in my in my sitting room creating songs, remodeling songs for him to sing. And then we were teaching him how to sing the songs. This is how you do it. This is how you go about it. This is what you do. And then we're doing the cutting and sewing, the dubbing and overdubbing and every other thing to bring about that album.
Because
Because he has nothing to say. You understand? So that's the nonsense. That's the nonsense people wanted to hear.
But the album became a hit. I remember
So you had other persons
traveled all over the Southwest promoting Shanko Rashid.
That is correct. Because you would say traveling all through the Southwest promoting Shanko. I wasn't promoting Shanko Rashid only. I had other artists. So if I'm taking Safejo or Tekoma somewhere, I'm taking Shanko along. You understand? So that's the way I was actually moving around from state to state.
Did you sign Container then?
No. Container was taking, you see, when Shanko was out really making this wave, a lot of persons were looking for young, artists. Container had existed in Ibadan.
Oh.
Is a young artist. Is Container will have senior Shanko about 6 years difference. Container was much more a matured, but with a petite nature, stature, so to say. But Container was much of a senior, when it comes to age difference to, Rashid or Jatayo. So
okay.
in the context of said?
I can hear you. Please go on.
So after Shanko actually made the hit, a lot of persons went to town looking for younger kids to, come into the ideology of a young artist can also sing and then they can make money off it. It is the same way when the unification thing came out and we had an album Unification involving Wasiu Alabi Pasuma, Wally and Tekoma, and Suli Alao Malaika.
Okay.
You understand? So everybody also, went to town looking for who they can match together, who they can bring together to actually, so you started having the Three Crown, you started having the Toju Bole, and the rest. So many collaborations came out,
Now,
so
we had my name, Konkolo.
The story behind Konkolo was, a bit different, really, because then there was a serious controversy that involved the former Olubadon of blessed memory now. You see,
I can hear you, sir.
The former Olubadon of blessed memory now. There was an issue that actually involved him with the international company that helps in mass production. That is the Nira Sound. That one of our promoters, one of our marketers, actually went behind to record Shanko Rashid.
Oh,
you see. So when they completed the recording, they were ready for release. And I had this law thing in my system from time. I've had this intellectuality thing in my system from time. So I just wrote to the company that, look, the artist you're about to release has a contractual agreement with us. So it's either desist from actually joining in this breach or be joined in the breach. So the white guys were, okay, they didn't know what to do. So they had to call one of their directors. Their directors then was the Balogun of Ibadan, who eventually became the Olubadan of Ibadan. So I was called to a meeting. And then the marketer who perpetrated the illegality then was also in the meeting. And I told them, well, see, if you are going to, they said, oh, they have printed so many copies for release. And so I said, look, you can't build something on nothing. Whatever you want to do, you are building on the contractual agreement of somebody else. So you cannot do that. And then they started the begging, they needed to actually call a truce so that they can release the album. And I gave them my terms. So the only thing you can do is give me 10,000 copies of, the job you were to release, the 10,000 copies of the job that you are about to release at the moment, and then pay me a certain amount of money, which I won't say here, and then the third condition given to them is that they cannot release anything till after 2 weeks of completing the terms given to them. So they have to wait for 2 weeks. Give me 10,000 copies of what they're about to release, pay me a certain amount of money, and wait for 2 weeks before they can release whatever they want to release. And then we came to, reaching an agreement and signing the agreement there. And, the rest is history. But the thing is, the 2 weeks condition given to them, I released the 10,000 copies, put the 10,000 copies given to me that same day into the market.
Okay.
And the second day, I went to Abeokuta to the Ogunbe's family. Somebody introduced me, yes, a friend of mine called Sunday Tantala, that we used to call Tantala Lori Okada. Now introduced me to the Ogunbe's family. having Adekola, Segun Ogungbe, and the rest of them there. So they introduced me to the Ogungbe's family, and they said there's a little boy, Segun Ogungbe's junior brother. There's a little boy that I can help the boy. And I went there, and they gave me the boy. And the father, they said, yeah, he could go with us, if I'm going to do something for him. And I mean, that was the second day I signed the agreement in Nera Sound, And I took Wally Ogungbe. I brought Wally Ogungbe home that day. And then we arranged a quick song for Wally Ogungbe. And that night, we found ourselves in the studio recording Wally Ogungbe. That night, you see, that night I had some rap guys in my house, I was to record their project too. So we all collaborated, put our eyes together. Let's do a track for this person. We're getting to the studio today. And then we did. And that brought about the my name, Konkolo. And what we did is, we finished the recording with a versatile sound engineer. He died recently, Kunle Agola.
Okay.
We finished the song overnight, and the second morning on air. So those that had bought Shanko were now listening to Konkolo, and then the Shanko, we have 10,000 copies. We don't have it anymore in the market because I saturated the 10,000. I sent it to everywhere. And then they don't have it anymore. And we have Konkolo on radio. Konkolo played on radio for a week plus, and we're ready for release. And the third day of the second week, Konkolo was in the market. So by the time the remaining of Shanko will come to the market, we already saturated the market with, Walati that you call Konkolo today.
Okay. I must say you are a bad smart bad marketer, wicked one at that.
No, you won't say a wicked one. You will say a smart one.
I already said a smart one, but wicked not in that not in that sense. But well, you understand the game. Who taught you?
A lot of people, a lot of research, a lot of inquiry, a lot of, you see, it is a thing you pick up gradually. It's not something you learn overnight. It's something you pick up gradually, and then it's painstaking. You learn to sleep in your car in radio stations and TV stations just to make sure that early in the morning they are playing it. Later while people are going to work, they are playing it. At night, they are playing it. You are running jingles. You are running from Lagos to Abeokuta to Ibadan to Ilorin to Akure to Ekiti. No. It's not that, it's not a tea party.
Your friend is asking, that where is Kunle Agbola now? I remember you just said it now.
Kunle Agbola of blessed memory is late.
Okay. All right. So how many albums did you record for Shanko? Just one?
No, not one. We had another album we titled Moskiri, but you see, he came back much later, and then he had actually soiled his image for so many reasons, and then people were seeing him, as a bad kid. So I know for now a lot of things have changed about him. He's much of a better, more mature person now. But then Shanko was a hard nut to crack. I actually put Shanko in school. Shanko was in Tender Care Nursery and Primary School, and then what he did there, in fact, most parents in the school were complaining then. So, but that was a story from the past.
What about Wally G?
Where's
Wally G?
Yeah, Wally G actually went back to school, was in the university, I guess. Went back to our institution. So I think a bit it went into acting because acting has a lot to do with the family, foundation. So yeah, I think he's more into acting and he's gone back to school, I guess.
All right. So with all this, okay, before I start to conclude now, you signed an artist, Omo Logo.
Yeah.
You had Olope, you had Logo. And Olope at that time was heavily criticized for singing Fuji and for even doing something with Pasuma. I would say she gospel and I'm sure that all that was your handiwork.
Yes, because you see, look, let's be factual with ourselves. Most of the criticism you had then, you can see them in the churches now. You see, what we do, you see, the problem we have is that in most cases, a lot of personalities don't even understand the dichotomy between idealism and realism. You see, people, the idea of religious fundamentalism really affects a lot of persons. So they feel that you can see some doctrination will tell you cannot play talking drum in the church. Some doctrinations will tell you cannot play omele in the church. Some doctrinations will tell you the agogo is for the traditionalism. They are aligning to traditionalism and the rest of them. So everybody has an alignment, realignment, de-alignment with one religious understanding, doctrinations, and beliefs or ideas. So at that time, I looked at it very well. Like my uncle will do, Uncle Bisade, he goes around and try to bring ideas together. So all I was doing then, I go to this church and they are playing the alujo. Everybody's dancing. This is alujo. This alujo is likened to, had a little chord to it, had the combination of omele to it, and it is Fuji. Go to this church and they are happy. What they are doing, they are playing, the percussion combination is Fuji. Add guitar to the percussion combination and it's juju. So I said, okay, don't worry. Most of these songs that we have in the world will come to church and steal the songs. When they steal the songs from the church, they will improvise it out there. Okay, now let's go and take it back out there and bring it back to church. That is it. That's what brought about that idea. You see? And when, you see, you will always have. You
saw that dangerous marketer.
Yes, I did. Yeah. You see, you will always have an artist making a serious name when the marketer is trying to standardize the name of the artist. You will have about 6, 7, 8 marketers doing every machination to take that artist away from you. So once they are doing that, instead of you to kill yourself or wait for them to kill you, there are so many ways they will kill you in that industry. So instead of you to do that, before the heart attack will kill you, go and look for an alternative. Put that alternative by the side. That is what brought about the Omo Logo thing at that time.
So in case Olope, something happens to...
So there is a substitute somewhere. I don't want to give myself high blood pressure.
So where is
industry then? Somewhere. You see, somewhere in the churches, performing, they are still there. You see, the thing is, when the marketer, you see, there are a lot of artists. There are a whole lot of artists, There are a lot of artists in the past. There are lots of them that you don't see them dishing out their albums like they used to. And those that are doing it now, a lot of them are actually funding their project themselves so that they can remain, you can still hear their name. A lot of them that are not funding their album themselves, they are still doing, one of the dynamism of of this work is that the artist will still be performing and making money. Even if the promoter or the marketer is not even, if they are not even in existence anymore. A lot of them are dead. A lot of them. So that is the idea. Is a lot of them are still in the system, but then, you can hear one day.
Did you attempt to sign Esther Iwalesi at that time?
She was very close to me. She was very close to me, and like I told you, if I was a marketer or a promoter or a label owner that is always interested in artists that might have released 1 or 2 albums before, Esther will have actually been on my label. But because she has done 1, 2, 3 albums before, I couldn't actually record her. I was more interested on those artists that had never been heard before.
So all the artists you signed were new artists.
Yes.
New to recording, new to labels and all that.
Yes.
Now, Kenny's music, I want to believe that one of the things that made Kenny's music become, at the time they stopped having grip of the industry, was that they had too many talents on their record label. Too many, from pop to all this and all that and all that. At your peak, what's the highest number of artists you signed on?
At my peak, I had about 12, I guess. Yes. Then I had Ojulari Ejire from Shagamu. I recorded Said Saudana, that's the Abokitonko Fuji. Then I had Oju Anobi, a Muslim artist. I think I have about 12 thereabouts.
Okay. So which of your artists actually did mostly well?
They all did well in their various capacity. They all did well.
But Shanko was popular.
Shanko was popular. Tekoma, in fact, Tekoma was popular. Safejo was popular. Yeah, Askari is even still popular. You understand? As a senior police officer now, within the context of the rank he is now, he's now an SPO. So they all did well in their various capacity. I won't say this person did well better than this person. No. Come again?
Do you still run Alphabet Music?
It's a record. If you check the CAC now, Alphabet Music and Films Nigeria Limited, it's there. There's nothing. I still have the marketing outfit at Oshodi. That is the distributive center. It's still there.
Do you have artists signed to your label at the moment?
We recorded Tekoma last year. We released Tekoma last year. 2 double album. That is The Prince and Messiah. you can't separate music from my system. No, you can't.
So what informed your decision to go back to school to become a lawyer?
Look,
and did you study entertainment?
No. You see, you could go to school and study entertainment and not even do well at all. Entertainment is a practical thing. It's a skill. You see, we are campaigning and canvassing for the Nigerian government to develop the skill industry effectively. Look, see, today, you find out that engineers, automobile engineers, can't engineer anything. You go to the side mechanic, he understands it better. You are only theoretically knowledgeable. The practical knowledge, the boys out there are good. You understand? Electrical engineer. He can't even climb the roof. He will fall down because he only went to University of Lagos, University of Ibadan. You see? But the electrical guy, the guy by your side, before you do it, you call electrician, Mufuwa, he will do it. You understand? So we need to develop the skill industry. The skill industry. And you will discover, when you develop the skill industry and develop it effectively, the way and manner by which it will culminate into a perfect development economy will shock you. Is it? So it is not just the school thing, fine, but develop that skill industry and take a lot of persons out of poverty in Nigeria. The skill industry, you see, all these people that are going to learn makeup, learning all these things that they are doing, weaving of hair and then, skills, all the tailoring, skills, all the shoemaker skills, you see, all this plumbing work, skills. Develop the skill industry. Make it very, very vibrant. Create that industry in such a way that you give the enabling opportunities to artisans. And then you'll see the economy climbing up. Is it?
Did you produce any movie?
No. I'm coming to that. Not yet.
All right.
We're coming to that gradually.
You've put in lots of years as a music promoter. I don't know. Have you mentored anybody? Your style is so different. Your approach is different. It's so appealing. As smart as it is, it's so appealing.
It is an interesting thing that even those that were supposed to be your mentee, in most cases, don't wait enough to learn the intrigues of the system. They are willing to learn a bit and then they accept the fact that they know it all. You can't force it. You understand? You can't force it. You see? When you know the akpadia, you see, you must know editor more akpadia, only more alude about how do they say? You see, it takes time. It's a gradual process before you get there. No. And then see, otolafun, otolape, otolayon. When you bring a budding artist to me now, I want to get to know the artist. It is when I get to understand and know the artist. Look, I did a music production of one of Yobato Gunde's wife. She's late now. You understand? Evangelist Mary Ogunde. And, the person that introduced her, because she's based in the UK, the person that introduced her said, look, she's an aged woman. But she said that the last part of her life, she wants to use it to sing for God, that she has used the better part of her life singing Aye and co, dancing for, Hubert Ogunde and co. And I said, look, the person that introduced her said, look, if you could have the patience to record a small boy, then you will need to employ a greater patience to be able to record the old woman. I took her to a choreo mix studio then, that is at the Choir firm, and I took my time to book as much as 10 sessions. And I was actually, she came from the UK, I put her in the hotel, and I, will come in the morning, I'll try and size her up, listen to her, I'll look at the inspiration she said that she had, that God gave her the inspiration of this song. And I said, look, yeah, the inspiration God gave you, perfect, but we need to put this inspiration in a singable manner. And then we started doing it beat by beat. When we do 2 tracks and we're able to put it perfectly, arrange it perfectly, we'll go to the studio. When we did one or two, it encouraged her. And she said, wow, are you sure it's my voice that I'm listening to? And I said, she should calm down. And I brought professional backup singers to infuse their voices to it. And then she became so happy, and she had the confidence that, oh yeah, now I know I can do it. And then we recorded the album. But it's funny. I immediately recorded the album. Some long far family members now discovered that their aged grandmother is a music maestro from birth. And they said, oh,
Minstrel.
Mama, don't allow him. You are not based in Nigeria. We are going to be the one to market it in Nigeria. Don't allow him to market it too, because when you die, we'll not be able to have anything. And I released the project and gave it to them. And that's the end of the story.
How old was she then when she recorded?
Mary, I think she was close to 80.
Oh.
She was close to it. She was, I think, 75, 76, 77, thereabouts.
Okay. So the last question now before I just let you go, because I've actually taken your time. My last question to you is that you never did any juju artists. You did mostly Islamic, Fuji, and some gospel music. And if we argue, we say that juju has been relegated. And juju musicians will say, no, juju can never be relegated.
I would want you to rephrase the question.
Okay. Now, you didn't do juju music at all. You did mostly Fuji. You did Islamic music, and you did gospel. Now, when I argue with people, especially juju musicians, I tell them juju has been relegated, and say juju. They will argue that juju can never be relegated. But now, how many marketers, how many record labels are handling juju music like we had in those days in the 70s when Ulumo Records, when we had Decca Records, when we had African Songs? At that time, they had mostly juju musicians. But from the 90s, Fuji dominated, and even up till now. So, what can you say about juju music? The level at which juju music is.
It is not. The submission was not accurately correct. I actually produced Optimist Shino Oluga. That's a juju artist. He says so. It's not exactly correct. But you say, let's come to terms with this. There's no particular genre of music that can be relegated. No. I won't accept to such assertion. There's always a time for everything. You see, there's a time when you have the consolidation of Fuji. Then you will say funky Fuji, Lasungbede, and then you have the likes of Dia Ujo improvising on the keyboard with the Fuji music. Some persons, will say then that, oh, this cannot last. This cannot last. And I'll tell you as a matter of fact that, you see, there's a phase for everything. There's a season for everything. There's a time for everything. You see, there's no way. You see, there's a time that everywhere was exploding with the likes of Feliz Liberty. You know the Feliz Liberty, right? Everywhere was Feliz Liberty. And then you have the likes of Chris Okotie. You understand? And then that was the season. And everybody was coming out with the same thing. And have you forgotten there was also a season for the band that actually brought out what's his name now? What's his name now? The Remedies. There was the band of the Remedies. There was the Plantation Boys and the rest of them. That's a season, And then you also, that season went. And you have the reggae season, the Majek Fashek, the Peter Sidoso Otong, the Oris Wiliki. You understand? The Francis Goldman, the Felix Lip. The Mandators, you understand? The Raskimono. That's another season. Then in that season, if you don't have those reggae artists in the Benson and Edges shows, in the various international shows, that show is not complete. You see, that's another season. Then there's a season of Gigi, Kere Gigi, Kere Gigi. You know that? That season came. You understand? That season came. I was actively learning music production at that time when Uncle Olope was producing Shina Peters in Aphrodisia. I would go there and look and listen and try and have the understanding of this overdubbing thing and everything. I was learning music production. One of the persons that I can never forget, my friend that really helped me so much when it comes to music production, is Femi Ojetunde. We used to use my dad's car. We would be roaming about, jumping from places to places. And then we used to use David Emonite. We used to use Mrs. Emonite's studio. We call the studio Yehuda Studio in Salvation Road in Okwebi, where Uncle Yinka, now the Yinka Ifele used to come, do his jingle and co for, what's it called, Querido. You understand? You know, so look, there is a season for all that. Then when we talk about the season for that Shina Peters, then you know what's happened. The likes of that Kujore came. The likes of Dele Taiwo came. The likes of Olufajemi also had something to do. So everybody was coming out because it is also a season. You understand? Wally Thompson, very good. That's also a season. So everybody was competing, the genre of that kind of music. Now, another season came, and then you have Wasiu Ayinde Marshal. Everybody was coming out with something, and they were all, churning out different type of music. So everybody was coming out, having their own feel. That's another season. At the time you call Kwam, the rain was much and massive. People thought that, the Afro-funky, stop that, the Liberty, Felice Liberty and Chris Okotie style, then the Plantation Boys, that the style is dead. People thought they can't come back. That style is dead. Look, this is what is raining now. Fuji is taking it over from Juju, and it's going to rain for a long time. Oh, it's a season. And then something happened. And then you have You Are My African Queen. Okay. And that's heralded another season.
Another era,
and another season. It heralded another season. And that season, you still have it. You can see the likes of Burna Boy. You can see the likes of Wizkid. You see the likes of Davido. That's another season. That season will also come. The season will also relax at a stage. Another season will also come. That's the way it has been. So I don't subscribe to the assertion that one brand of music has been relegated. No.
All right, I actually get your point, but it's just like saying something is a dozen or 2 dozens or two halves of a dozen. So when a season has gone or has been relaxed for another season, in a way it has taken the back seat. We just want to be truthful to say that, well, it's been relegated. So I will say that I go with you on that. Thank you so much for your time, Uncle Dammy, for being part of my show on this very short notice. But before you go, sir, I want to take messages. So, Uncle Tony, want to see Lekki Sun Splash just now.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Warren, sports icon, you are doing excellently well, sir. Keep going higher. Thank you. Simeon Akins, well done. Also, 1 year, Obiteti Barrier, one church is the foundation for both instrumentalists and vocalists. So, but live play gives you more exposure and enhance your skills. Bami Dele Babatunde Peter, keep up the good work. My older council, also Lumi de Fakule, Reagbasha Gamulu at Topic Queen, Femi Adeshua, live from Dubai. Happy New Year, sir, from Cape Verde, Islands. Simeon Akins, when I think Shanko left Alphabet Records after his first album, because No Doubting was not marketed by Alphabet Music. Is that correct?
That's not. Absolutely not.
Okay, so Toyin Ogubumi hailed you, Dammy Osha, Daniel Wash, Kale, Shupo Oyeleye. Yes, I read this earlier. That's Abiori versus Sony. Then, same with SSP and his promoter. Tunde Ajegbo, to guard against the odd, it is better to educate the artists in details so that issues will not emanate again. Same with Band Boys versus Band Owner Leader, Shupoye. Omo Ilora, this is an interesting interview. One shouldn't miss for anything. Thanks, sir, for bringing this wonderful guest tonight. Shupoye said, winning on sentiments. That's the share on marketers. Simeon Akins, I understand Uncle Dammy well. Artists don't consider promoters. When it comes to monetary stuff, artists believe they are entitled to cars, houses, and luxurious lifestyle at the expense of the marketer anyway. Shukwaoye, rivalry to generate business, not personal. Alaji Ashiwa Jubisi Ajiboye Shogigun, thank you. Tunde Ajebori Ogbon, 3 Crown, Bayo Juyobo, Sharif Yonda, and one other person. Sylvester Okidu, Agbade to TV, kudos to you, God bless you mightily. Tose Abiodun, you're doing well. Bamidele Oko, thank you, Bamidele. Also, Tosin Abiodun said, my boss, Tasman, is here too. You know Tasman, sir?
Yeah, very well.
All right. So Simeon Akins called you a dangerous marketer. Then Tunde Ajebori won the 2 at Celestial. He was referring to Omo Logo and Olope there. Oluwakemi Deborah, it's obvious he's a master of the game. He knows how well to handle young and new artists. Komalafe Oladimeji Agbaletu Kushel Olushino Olabode Omoyashino. Well done. Tunde Ajebori remember Shino Oluga Niagege. Then Oluwakemi Deborah, kudos to you, Agbaletu, and your crew. Hope you bring Lagbaja one day. That's if I recognize Lagbaja. Codex International, thank you. Itayo Lugba in thank you. Oluwakemi Deborah said, let him speak Yoruba small now. Okay, mo ti Yoruba sí ẹ̀yin lẹ down. Ẹ̀yin lẹ sọ show di show elédè òyìnbó. So mi ṣe ẹ gbọ́ Yorùbá now.
I gbọ́ Yorùbá dáadáa now. Yebi gbogbo ìta ń sọ yìí náà. Yorùbá náà là ń sọ yìí. Bí Yorùbá wà bá tiẹ̀ dípò, àṣà gbọ́ dáadáa.
Anthony Addy, that's UK. One, I disagree. The original juju that likes of Sony, Obe, Dele Abiodun, Prince Adekunle played in the 70s and 80s seems long gone. Today, it is diluted with Fuji, Alujo, and all that. Even that Fuji, that juju going is even going. Now we have repertoire music where you sing a little bit of Raskimono, do a bit of Mandatos, do a bit of Wasiu Ayinde, go back to Shina Peters, do a bit of Shanko, do something from Michael Jackson, come back to Barrister. You know, that is mixtape, not pay. Yeah, when you're to that way, when you're 10 towards.
You see, that's the reason why at the time you see Pasuma actually did an album. We called it Entertainer. It's a mix of all. You see, on the stage now for most Fuji artists, look at Wasiu Ayinde. He's using saxophone, he's using the guitar, he's using the bass guitar. You see, it is a fusion of all. If you want to be a complete artist, you definitely can't be stagnant. You got to move. You understand? Because those that want to listen to you, I want to. So you need to bring all forms of ideas into your music so that you can develop it. You see, necessity is the mother of inventions, you know. Is it? So you can't, you know, they are developing, and you know, the more they develop, call the music whatever you want to call it Jiwere, call it Fuji, call it Juju, call it gospel. Yeah, even get to the church now, you can see what they are singing. Yeah, you understand? So everybody is improvising, and I think it's better for the system. Okay.
Yes, but Ben Folari is saying hi. Ben Folari.
Omoluwa.
Eshegon Kudami, thank you for giving me this opportunity at very short notice. Egbeshewe patronize well. Àwọn ṣe tó bá ń jáde ẹ máa tì sí bíbá àwọn bàbá yín máa blow
ó ti di dandan, ó ti di dandan. Àwọn iṣẹ́ tẹ̀yìn náà bá ní, ẹ ti mọ̀ pé the rules of professional conduct ti wa as legal practitioners does not allow us to advertise, but èèyàn wa náà gbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ pé bó bá ṣe wù kó rí, wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ fọwọ́ alágbá èèyàn wa lójú nítorí pé àwa máa protect fundamental right there. So within the context of what we are now, and then the legal and noble status, we will do the right to defend the rights of persons, parties, and then the people, and then the sense of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So iṣẹ́ tó bá yẹ ká wá ṣe, àwa máa ṣe bó ṣe yẹ ká ṣe. A gbọ́ Yorùbá o, ìjìnlẹ̀ Yorùbá, a gbọ́ Yorùbá gan ju àgbàlẹ̀tù lọ. Lọ́wọ́ ni a fi wá sí kọ́ńtẹ́sìtì nípa ẹni tó gbọ́ Yorùbá jù. Àdálẹ̀ o.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much for your time. Anytime ni so mo dúpẹ́ ní Nàìjíríà bí mọ́kànlá kọjá ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́rìnléníogún kò ní jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Meanwhile, jẹ́ kí n sọ fún yín pé bí a ṣe ń stream yìí bó ṣe ń lọ ní Facebook ló ń lọ ní YouTube at the same time. Mo pa àwọn tó wà ní YouTube àwọn ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ máa wo tí wọn after ni. So ẹ ṣé gan Délé Adéyanjú lórúkọ mi lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí fáwọn tí ó mọ̀ mí.